Alright, so the oil is changed, and it'd be a crime not to go out for a ride and see how the bike performs. So let's go do that. Alright, we're heading towards some back roads. We'll see how let's try to awaken the bike after a long winter. Okay, here's a little turn off. We're going to hit some back roads. Trains. Okay. That second gear. This is what I like. You're on the back roads and you're at maybe 3,500 RPMs, third gear. That acceleration is really nice, really nice. And you go from 3,000 to maybe 5,000, and you've got plenty of torque and power with it. You know, it's really not an issue. You know, in terms of accelerating from a standstill, let's do that. So here we go, and we'll just get to the end of this road. No one's here. You can see it's really quick. Front wheel lifted just a bit. Like I said, you want to get that full power at those RPM. Full RPM. This bike will do it, no problem. And so it's if you're in the back roads, and it's more of a relaxed thing where you don't have to keep it in low gears and at 6,000 RPMs to get full power. You know, if you're in a more relaxed mood, this is where this bike really lives. Let's put it this way. And it does a really good job with it, getting out of corners and pushing out of corners. Yeah, so coming into corners, you turn, and you get instant acceleration with it. And this is the fun part. If you don't want to get into high RPMs here, let's get in third, turn, and there we go. You know, you're at 5,500 or so, 6,000, and you've had plenty of acceleration down the corner like that. So a very nice bike overall, especially for little back roads where you just want to carve a bit the corners, get some gas on there, accelerate out, but you know, you don't want to make a scream at 10,000 RPM. You just want to be in a gear and the bike's able to give you a lot of torque, as opposed to a bike that needs to be in higher RPMs to get all that power out. So in that sense, it's an easy bike to live with. You know, yes, would it be nice to have, say, a quick shifter or maybe cruise control? It depends if you want this bike more for a touring thing. You know, it's yes, those would be nice. But I find for me that the quick shifter is nicer, say, with the Tracer 9 GT, a bike that has the high RPMs, where you're going to take it to not nearly red line every time. do like that you get nearly instant power as you get on throttle immediately. The Tracer 9 takes a little while to build it up. Just like I said, it wants to be at maybe 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs and higher. Although with the Tracer 9, once you hit that 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs, 6,000, it goes. So, there we go. Click the wrist, fourth gear, and you just feel that acceleration. You just feel that torque. I don't have to take it higher into the 8,000 RPM range. So overall, I'd have to say well, it looks like the oil change was successful. The bike hasn't seized yet. Yeah, after a long winter, it's nice to make it breathe again and get it out on the back roads like this. Definitely, it's a bike that's really well suited for these back roads and really well suited for just, you know, if you like to give it gas and just get going out of corners and get that immediate response, it's very well suited for that. Apparently, I'm driving through a little park. Have to go slower here. But that's the impressions today after the oil change. You know, I'm really enjoying the bike. This is the second year, and definitely, you know, to me, a bike like this and a bike like the Tracer 9, something that needs higher RPMs to really get the power. They're both very nice bikes. It all depends what you want. If you're always in terms of like, you know, if you're spirited, this is a bike for spirited riding, where you're getting in corners, you give it some acceleration, you know, and then that's all you want to do with it. You don't want to carve the corners. You don't want to get down on the knee. You just want to be comfortable with the bike, and when you want power, it gives it to you. If you're more into the thrill seeking, so your goal is to just attack corners and always try to do better, just get speed on it and just get in fast and get out faster, and just always make the bike scream, you know, just be in low gears and high RPMs. Something like the Tracer 9 does that well. That's where it lives, and it just keeps going, you know. This thing's over at 7,000. The Tracer 9 goes on higher, so I think, you know, both bikes have their place in your motorcycle riding world. You know, having both, of course, is nice. To me, if you're gonna have, the question is, what if you need to choose between one bike? It can be a tough one. You know, this, like I said, this doesn't have the cruise control. This doesn't have the quick shifter. Putting saddlebags on this, it's going to be a question of, it's aftermarket, it's straps, it's you know, it depends what you want to do. If you want to go touring, if you think you're going to get on the bike a lot and go long distances, this is fine, and of course you can tour with it. But the Tracer 9 is going to be more adapted to that, with its you know, the saddlebags are really easy to put on and off. They're meant for the bike. It does have a screen, adjustable screen. It does have the cruise control. So it does have the adjustable suspension. You can put it on sport or you can put it on comfort. So, you know, those more sort of sport touring bikes, that's basically it. Sport touring. That's what they're meant for. If you're never going to do that, so if you're not going to take advantage of that, then, you know, do you really need a sport touring bike? You know, they usually sit higher off the ground. You know, well, if you're a little smaller in the inseam, you may not reach quite properly. You'll have to just tip a toe or, you know, lean on one side. You know, is that what you want if you'll never get the bike out to go on trips or long distances, or really never use its high RPMs? If you always keep it in low RPMs, and you know, then I think a bike like this is a lot more suited. A daily rider or anything like that, it's a really nice bike. So yeah, I'm waffling a bit on you know, what should I get, but they're both nice bikes to have. But frankly, when I get on back roads and I'm just going around, especially summertime, I don't need the windscreen. So I like having the bike without a windscreen. I like feeling the wind. You know, it feels like I'm out there. You know, I see some bigger bikes, they're totally blocked from the wind, and that's great for long distances, so you don't get as tired. If you gotta get somewhere before you get through your back roads, if you have to ride 3-4 hours, then yes, you know, that windscreen, it just makes it easier. You're not as tired, you're not pushing back against the wind. But on back roads like this, I just like the feeling, and this does it so well with it. So, you know, if I had a commuter bike where I'm riding maybe a half hour to work, and if I had a bike where I'm just going to hit the back roads or maybe ride a couple of hours somewhere like this, this might be where you want to be with it. But just keep in mind that it has its limitations in terms of how you carry things. And let's go this way. Here. You can see how well it's composed. It's still well composed in the corners. So yeah, the suspension, you know, it's not electronically adjustable, but I think they did a good job giving you comfort, and yet being able to get in the corners, and the bike doesn't wallow, you know, up and down too much. Again, if you're looking for something that is more sport oriented, that suspension can be firmed up or loosened up. Again, the Tracer 9 GT does that. But I'm having no issues whatsoever. Just getting in the corners and feeling comfortable and confident with the bike. You know, that was a different story with, I used to have a Honda Shadow. It was a 2000 Honda Shadow. And yeah, you take a corner on that bike and it feels like as it turns in, it needs to settle first. You know, it's, and this is not that. This bike is completely different than that. Talked about, you know, this bike, it's good at coming up corners and it's really great for spirited riding. Of course you can push it if you want to, and it does a good job with that too. and you can change the throttle response. Right now it's in road, but if I go in mode, sport, there we go, press the clutch, and then in sport, and the throttle response goes up a bit, and I can take it. If I want to push it and lean more in these roads, and really push the bike a little more, it'll do it nicely. So, you know, don't think that, well, this is just a bike to go around corners and, you know, not really push it hard. Oh, it'll push if you want it to. That's not a problem. It's just, you know, it's not a firm sport suspension. So keep that in mind when you're taking in terms of corners with it. But it's not a problem with it. So if you do want to get a more thrilling ride out of it, let me show you here. You got some little corners. Give it some gas, give it acceleration, no problem, you know, okay. You want to come out of a corner, a little lower gear, give it gas, go back around, give it gas. It's doing it, no problem. You know, it's still planted firmly enough. If you want to take a corner, if you want to take it quickly, it'll do that. No problem. You can get some speed. So overall, yeah, the bike will, you can be aggressive with it. You know, it's not a problem. I'm just saying that some bikes with higher RPMs, they just, you know, they like to live there, and it's a different feeling. But definitely for these corners, you can see I'm not having any issue with it. And I can lean the bike. This is there we go. No problem. Alright. Well, a little more spirited riding for you to show you the bike will do it no problem.